Hi, I'm Paul Marsh, and today a quick demonstration of some layout tools that I've been trying to write with the help of this guy. So let me just bring in this YouTube thing here. So I've been using this Fixing Grid Layouts in Unity by Game Dev Guide. I thoroughly recommend it, it's really good. So what is it that I'm trying to do here? I've got a little canvas and this new layout control that I've been writing called the Flex, and in it we've got some buttons, and really the idea is I don't know how many buttons are going to be here, so the idea is it needs to be flexible. And also we're running in the 2020s simulator, so we can kind of see what it looks like on a Razer phone. So you can see in portrait mode we've got this kind of set up. If we go to the Flex, we've got a new kind of layout grid here. It's currently set to uniform, and I'll show you what that means. So let's just start playing with it. Actually, let's rotate this. So as you see, we can rotate this around, and it's kind of okay. A bit of a glitch there, but generally speaking, it's kind of there. And then we can go and say, well, let's sort of favour the width. So you can see it sort of fills in this area now. And then as we rotate, you can see that's quite nice. We could probably go into that mode if we detected the rotation. And then we can do the same sort of thing with the height. So there, it's kind of looking like a sort of classic sort of phone style. And then here, obviously it's a bit too wide, but again, maybe we could detect when we're going portrait or landscape. The other things we can do is we can come in here and say, well, actually, let's have a fixed number of rows. So we can come in here and say, well, okay, let's start with 1. So that's obviously pretty gopping. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that's quite nice, quite an interesting one we could create there. 6, and then in this one we're starting to move up the screen, so we can kind of create a sort of space or create a nice sort of area underneath, and we'll come back to that. We could do fixed columns in a very similar way, so we can have 2 or 3 or 4. We can start playing around with exactly what we want. That's pretty grim. Yeah, so that's quite good. Get some nice ideas about how we might want to play around with that. Yeah, get some nice layouts quite easily, quite cheaply. The other thing as well is on this mode, let's go back to uniform. There's an additional concept here called fill remaining. And the last node here is then filling the space. And if we go to sort of width mode, you can see that's quite a nice little concept. Go to height mode, again, nicely sort of filling in the area at the bottom, quite good. And we can play around with the rows again, see what that looks like. So that's reasonably good, that's quite nice. And as we start doing this thing where we're filling out extra space, all we're doing is we're creating more space for this one particular node that you might want to put at the bottom. So we can create more space, and play around with it to our heart's content. So really, all this is about is just demonstrating that we can do different kinds of layouts. And again, I thoroughly recommend that we go to, let's try and bring up YouTube guy. Thoroughly recommend you go to this Game Dev Guide, it's really good. But yeah, you can certainly create quite some interesting controls of your own if you're willing to experiment. Okay, thanks.